All right, let's go ahead and finish this thing up. We were in Ezekiel. When we left on the last video, we were in Ezekiel 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45. All those chapters, Ezekiel is explaining to you that he's seen this building of the third temple. This third temple is a prophecy in regard to the Messiah's reestablishment of him coming back. Once again, some say that Messiah builds it himself. Some say that the Israelites build it when they go over before the Messiah. So either way, it's going to happen in the future if you believe in biblical prophecy. Okay, now what I wanted to point out to you was that this is going to be a futuristic event. And remember, we were dealing with forever. And the challenge still, I'm still extending that challenge. That I want somebody to please explain to me why he says forever in 29 different places, but y'all do everything else. I want, this is the challenge that I'm extending, but I'm getting ahead of the arguments. The first argument is going to be that he don't mean it was just a period of time. When I explained to you, when the English translators translated olam in those particular instances, which means forever in Hebrew, or never ending, to forever. Now y'all want to take it and say that, oh, no, it just meant an extended period of time. So I'm showing you in different futuristic prophecies where the prophets were prophesying and they were seeing all these things going on in the future. So we did Zechariah 14, 16 to 21, if you would like to go read it. Now we're doing Ezekiel all the way from chapter 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, but we're not going to read all that. We're just going to get into the end of Ezekiel 45, and then we're going to go into Ezekiel 46. So in Ezekiel 45, I'm going to show you something that's real interesting, real fascinating. Now, this is right after the temple is built. So it says, thus saith the Lord, and I'm going to read it all before I even comment. Thus saith the Lord, in the first month, in the first day of the month, you should take a young bullock without blemish and cleanse the sanctuary. This is the temple. Cleanse the sanctuary. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering and put it upon the posts of the house and upon the four corners of the settle of the altar and upon the post of the gate of the inner court. And so you shall do it the seventh day of the month for everyone that errs, and for him that is simple, so will you reconcile the house. So this will be the sin offering that's made really like every day. It's supposed to be two sin offerings, one in the morning, one in the evening. So it's like sin offering. So in the first month, in the 14th day of the month, you shall have the Passover. Now this is in the future. You shall have the Passover. A feast of 7 days, unleavened bread shall be eaten. Feast of Passover, feast of unleavened bread. And upon that day shall the prince, now remember that, the prince prepare for himself and for all the people of the land a bullock for a sin offering. In 7 days of the feast he shall prepare a burnt offering to the Lord, 7 bullocks and 7 rams without blemish daily, the 7 days, and a kid of the goats daily for a sin offering. And real quick to you, Olivia, because you said that you didn't know what they saw sacrifice for sin. They goats and sheep or lambs, sin offerings. And he shall prepare a meat offering of an ephod for a bullock and an ephod for a ram and hin of oil for the ephod. In the 7th month, in the 15th day of the month, shall he do it like in the feast of the 7 days, according to the sin offering, according to the burnt offering, and according to the meat offering, and according to the oil. So let me stop right here, because that's from 16 to 25. Now I'm about to go into Ezekiel 26. Now, first, let me dismiss this logic that I hear a lot of people saying, oh, well, see, he fulfilled all the sin, all the offerings. We no longer sacrifice bulls and goats. Baloney. He just told you when the third temple is built, nothing is passed away. None of this. And it's going to go into these forever passages. None of these are passed away. They're all intact. The only reason that we do not make offerings right now is because there is no temple. There is no temple to sacrifice. So before one of y'all get up and say, well, y'all don't see you offering goats and bulls and all that. Man, I'd be right over there at that temple offering a goat and a bull myself. If it was there, if the priesthood was in line, because you understand that these laws and rules come where the priest has to make some offerings for you. They have to make the offerings. There's a priesthood in order in line for those particular things. So it's not done away with. Remember, when you go into these forevers, they're going to show you that these offerings are to be made forever. And a lot of y'all going to say, well, that goes through the Messiah and this and this and this. Nah. This right here is explaining to you that when this priesthood is reestablished and that prince comes, then there is still going to be offerings being made. So if you're saying that it's done away with, but some of y'all going to fall under that same logic that, oh, this is just spiritual, so we killing spiritual bulls and goats. I wonder how Ezekiel and Zechariah seen all these spiritual imaginary animals and knew what they were. I don't get it. It just doesn't. Some of the arguments that y'all use just to solidify y'all position is, I mean, I thought I heard it all, man, for real, until I heard that dude, Geno Jennings. I've been in a religious boot camp for almost 15 years. I keep repeating that. But, man, look, some of the stuff that he says and some of the stuff that I hear these other people saying just takes the cake. And it's the only reason that I'm really doing this. Because, like I said, I really never get into this. I just get into teaching my people. I never get into back and forth with people. So, but I hate when people just take and defile this book and people just follow him blindly. So let's get into 46, because this just explains to you that when this prince comes back, this prince is supposed to be the Messiah. When he returns, that he's going to be making sacrifices. He's going to be keeping Passover. It just told you, in the 5th month, on 14th day of the month, you shall have the Passover. What is it, a spiritual Passover? No, you shall have a Passover. A feast of 7 days, unleavened bread shall be eaten. Oh, we're going to eat spiritual unleavened bread. That's what y'all keep saying, and it makes no sense. I'm just making fun of y'all, but it's for real. This is in the future. So if you're telling me that all this stuff is done away with, why is Yahweh telling us and Ezekiel saying, look, I'm seeing them keep these holy days and these feasts in the future? So let's go to 46 and start at 1. Thus saith the Lord God, the gate of the inner court that look toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it will be open, and in the day of the new moon it will be open. So they're still remembering the new moon. Even then, but y'all said it's done away with. And the prince, that prince, shall enter by the way of the porch that the gate is without, and stand by the post of the gate, and the prince shall prepare a burnt offering and his peace offering, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. And then he shall go forth, and the gate shall be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of the gate before the Lord, and in the Sabbaths and in the new moons. So if we're going to be, so this goes to Geno Jennings and all them people who argue against the Sabbath. It says that we're going to be doing this stuff during the Sabbath in the future. Listen, I love how y'all, either y'all don't read the book or y'all only read the book that they guide you to read, that they tell you to read. But Ezekiel is telling you when this is happening and how it's happening, the dates it's happening, all the sacrifices that are being made, all the stuff that y'all said is done away with, going to be happening in the future. So what I'm saying is, okay, he said forever. There was a break in forever, so he lied. There was a break in forever, then we pick it up later. Once the temple is built, once all these things are built, it shows you right in here in the text that it will be occurring in the future. The Sabbaths, the new moons, the sacrifices, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread. Let's go down to 46 and 6. And in the day of the new moon, it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs and a ram shall be without blemish. Those will be the sacrifices that are made on the new moon, during the feast of the new moon. Let's flip this over real quick. And that's about it. Let's just wrap that up in a nice little bow. Please don't use that. Please don't use that. It was a time dispensation thing. He only meant you got to do it for this amount of time, and then you don't have to do it anymore. Because I just showed you that that's not the case. So please don't use that argument. Please don't come to me with grace. I keep telling y'all the same thing. I had to go through this so many times in prison. Yes, I'm saved by grace, but there has to be a standard. Y'all say that you're led by the Spirit, but the Spirit in Christianity has 1,500 at least that I know of. Like about 5 years ago, it was 1,500 denominations within Christendom. 1,500. So you mean to tell me that that this spirit that y'all all being led by, because y'all all say the same thing. Y'all saved by grace, you're led by the Spirit. So you mean to tell me that this spirit has y'all divided into 1,500 different denominations? Look it up. You don't believe me? In Christendom, there is almost 15. I think last check, it was 1,500. So you mean to tell me it's one spirit in accordance to that, one baptism, one spirit, one Messiah. But this spirit is telling y'all all different stuff. All of y'all, that's a spirit I don't wish to be part of. Because if this spirit is telling you this, telling him that, and telling him that, see, I don't have to worry about what the spirit is telling me. Because if I feel like I'm being compelled by the spirit, or the spirit is speaking to me or guiding me a certain way, guess what I do? Get in this book to authenticate that this spirit is actually guiding me in this particular fashion. Because if I can't find it in this book, I don't listen to that spirit, because that is not the spirit of Yahweh. That is not the spirit of Yahweh. Now, for the second argument, a lot of y'all going to use the whole, well, nah, we don't have to do that because that was for the Israelites. Okay, let's crush that real quick. Let's do away with that real quick. Let's go to, let's hit Numbers 15 first, since I'm closer to that. Let's hit Numbers, because it's going to be the last video, and then I'm gonna put a pin in this thing, man. They gonna keep bombarding y'all with this stuff. It says in Numbers 15 through 16, it says, one ordinance shall be both for you of the congregation, meaning the natural born Israelite, and also of the strangers that live with you. So anything that I'm reading to you, and this is about the offerings, if you read 15 in its totality, it's about the offerings, the sacrifices that's being made. It's one law for you and for me. I'm a natural born Israelite, but y'all say y'all Gentiles. But if you say that you believe in this deity, this book, he said to do these things forever, he said you have to do it the same way I do it. So he says, the congregation, also the stranger that lives with you, an ordinance forever, that it don't change. That he didn't somehow say, well, oh, that's a Jewish thing, and I'll make y'all your own Sabbath. No. In your generations, as you are, so shall the stranger be. As you are a native-born Israelite, so shall the stranger be. One law and one manner shall be for you and the stranger that lives with you. One law. Let's go to Leviticus 24. So please don't use that excuse that, oh, see, that was for the Jews. 24, Leviticus 24 and 22 says, you shall have one manner of law, as well for the stranger, that's you, because you don't believe you're Israelite, as for the one of your own country. For I am the Lord your God. So this rule book, Torah, it goes for me and you. You can't wiggle from under and say, well, I'm not an Israelite, so I don't have to do that. Yes, you do. If you believe in this deity of the Bible, this stuff that he said, keep forever, you got to do it just like I do it. Okay, let's hit Leviticus. Okay, let's hit Exodus 12 and 49. Twelve and 49 says, one law shall be for him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that lives amongst you. So the laws of Passover, because that's what he's talking about there, the laws of Passover are for the homeborn, the homeborn, and for those that live amongst us, those strangers, because y'all say y'all not Israelites. So if you believe in this deity, this Bible, this book tells you to do it forever. So I'm gonna run these down real quick. And if you like, you can go to it. These are the ones that are all forever. Exodus 12 and 14, Exodus 12 and 17, Exodus 12 and 24, Exodus 27 and 21, Exodus 28 and 43, Exodus 29 and 28, Exodus 30 and 21, Exodus 31 and 17, Exodus 40 and 15, Leviticus 6 and 18, Leviticus 7 and 34, Leviticus 7 and 36, Leviticus 10 and 9, Leviticus 10 and 15, Leviticus 16 and 31, that's the Day of Atonement, Leviticus 16 and 34, Leviticus 17 and 7, Leviticus 23 and 14, Leviticus 23 and 21, Leviticus 23 and 31, Leviticus 23 and 41, Numbers 10 and 8, Numbers 15 and 15, Numbers 18 and 8, Numbers 18 and 19, Numbers 18 and 23, Numbers 19 and 10, Numbers 24 and 20, Deuteronomy 4 and 40, which is a real good one, and I'd like to take you to that really quickly and read it to you. Deuteronomy 4 and 40. And 40. 4 and 40 says, 4 and 40 says, excuse me, you shall keep therefore his statutes and his commandments, which I command you this day, that it may go well with you and with your children after you, and that you may prolong your days upon the earth, which Yahweh your deity giveth to you forever. So if he gave us the land forever, and we were supposed to be there forever, there was supposed to never be any breaks in that. And the Messiah came, and we were doing good. And the Messiah came, and then all of a sudden we said, oh, well, we don't have to do that no more. It just said right there that in order for you to keep this land forever, if you want to keep the land forever, you have to keep these commandments. If you want to keep the land forever and everything go well with you, your kids, their kids, and so on and so forth, you got to keep these commandments forever. I just love it, once again, how people feel like they can take this thing and make it fit their agenda. It's because people just don't read and study, take the time and thoroughly get into it. So I'm going to conclude this by saying, man, hey, man, my challenge still stands. Explain to me why it says forever there. Don't take me to Peter, to Paul. Don't take me to any other scripture, man. Don't do that. Because what you do is you create a contradiction, a conflict, because the prophets just told you that we'll be keeping this stuff in the future. It's not spiritual. It's not spiritual. It's going to literally be sacrifices being made. Passover is going to be kept. The Sabbaths are going to be kept. New moons are going to be kept. All the feast days are going to be kept. And he literally said that I am going to punish those who do not make the pilgrimage up to Israel to keep the Feast of Tabernacles with the king. But you'll tell me that no. See, it says here, brother, what you're doing is making the Bible contradict itself. Answer the question. That's all I want. Why does it say forever here, but you do contrary? Please don't come with the same two arguments. Don't come to me saying that's because it doesn't mean forever. I just showed you that it does. Don't come to me, just don't come to me with anything. Just answer the question. Please answer the question. And once you get past forever, then we can go into a real dialogue and debate. But you can't get past forever. You cannot get past those 29 times that I just cited to you about forever. You can't get past them. You know, and I'm gonna leave it at that, brothers and sisters, because I've taken up too much of your time, and I'm trying to educate y'all, man, and move y'all into a higher plane of consciousness when it comes to this book. That this is a book of history that teaches you about a people, places, and things. Whereas down through time, it was taken and turned into a religion, which it isn't. It's a book of understanding wisdom and history. So, man, I thank y'all for this opportunity. And once again, hit that bell on the bottom, man. Subscribe to this thing, man. Support me. I love y'all, man. And like I always conclude these videos by telling you, if you're a couple, man, take your loved one outside. It's beautiful. Go outside, walk together, bond, communicate, have some coffee together, man, and just talk. All right, I love y'all, man, and I'll see y'all later because I'm going to do a video later on tonight about my cooking. All right, shalom.